Right. Well, one of the things I love about what you're saying is it's the reminder that there's no one right way to be in relationship, and that
Right, exactly.
that right? Like, that worked for your friend and it wouldn't
Yeah,
have worked for you, and that's okay. So, like, when
yeah,
we're trying to decide whether to stick with a relationship or not, it's really important to look inwards and not outwards. There's no,
yes,
rules or markers to be hit that make a relationship successful or not successful. The question
right.
is it working for you? So
Mhm.
you were noticing that one wouldn't have worked for you unless there was room for growth. And
Right.
so that's another great point. I mean, I completely agree with you. So let me go back to the enmeshment thing for a minute, because the other thing that happens when we get in that enmeshed place, like, let's say you had been in a intimate relationship with that friend of yours and you were starting to feel like, I can't be the sexual person I really am because she doesn't have as strong a libido as I do, or she doesn't desire this in our relationship as much as I do. And so I can't be me in relationship with her, right? I have to
Right.
suppress this in order to protect the relationship. That would work for a little while, meaning
Right.
you'd stay together. And then eventually this thing would bubble up for you where you would feel like I have to be myself. And the only way to be myself is to get out of the relationship. And
Mhm.
so if we go from here to here, we call that an enmeshment estrangement cycle, right? Where we go from I can't be me and be with you. And I can only be me if I'm without you. Right?
Mm.
That's the enmeshment estrangement. And what you're very wisely bringing attention to is, isn't there a third alternative, which is growing,
Right.
right? And the answer to that is yes. And so that third alternative is called differentiation, where we actually practice what happens if I do try being myself in the relationship. Right? And so now there's room for all of me and room for all of you, and I'm doing this thing with my hands and remembering this is gonna be a podcast, and it may not make as much sense, but, if your listeners go like, take your hands and interlace the fingers, those little fingertips don't even look at each other anymore, right? They can't even see each other anymore. You feel like they're close, but there's no real intimacy. And then if you pull your hands way far away from each other, obviously there's no intimacy there. But if we bring our hands palm to palm facing each other, where each hand actually maintains its own space, right? My left hand is my left hand and my right hand is my right hand. This is me and this is you. And we can see each other and we can choose really full, deep connection, and we can choose space and separateness. That is like, in my mind, that's what intimacy is. You asked, that's how we got here. You asked me, what do I mean by intimacy? Right?
Mhm.
It's the ability to be all the way you in relationship with somebody who you're making room for and is choosing to also be all the way them.
Mm.
That's intimacy. And it's not always comfortable.